Hello, welcome to Sound and Fury Book Reviews. As usual, I'm Tina. Today I'm doing a book review of Demon's Rage by David Estes and Ben Galley. This is a book that came out in February 2024. It's a fantasy novel, it's self-published, and I listened to this book on Audible. Yes, it's the book I've been putting on my TBR videos for 3 months. The review is finally here. The book is long, okay? It's like 24 hours on audiobook, and I wasn't painting any rooms this time, so I could only listen in short increments. But that's okay. First of all, this is the second book in a series, a trilogy. I'm assuming it's a trilogy. So there are spoilers for book one, but there are no spoilers for book two in this book. If you don't plan on reading this book, I hope you enjoy this review, where it's mainly me talking about a side character I have definitely not written fan fiction about. The first book I will show you is Demon's Reign, which is so cool. Look at the cover; it's so fun. I love it. I listened to it on audiobook as well, but I also was like, no, I need a physical copy of this. Anyway, what is this book about? The war to save the Swathe is far from over. Since the Battle of Shalgara, the Scions have lurked in the dangerous loam, hunting the survivors of the last clan. But a malice grows in the treetops and the canopies of the Bloodwoods. Fireborn lies creep like a rot through the Swathe, turning citizen against citizen, brother against brother. Their purpose? To open another fiery grate to the demon realm. Racing against time, Tarko and Cerisi must fight not only the demon threat, but their own growing power. The bond of Nectra and the demon blood is alluring as a precipice, and one just as perilous. As they become ever more intertwined, the path to victory will present a way to hold back or to give in to the rage building within them. But these are desperate times, and such times call for desperate measures, even if that means becoming the very monster you're fighting against. I enjoyed this novel just as much, perhaps more, than the first. The first had the aspects of demon possession stories that I absolutely love, where the host and parasite have to learn to adapt and or work with one another. But in this one, that was already resolved and managed to strengthen the relationship and expand on it. I very much enjoyed the dynamic between Cerisi and Tarko, and I also really enjoyed the scenes from Cerisi's point of view. I kind of wish the book had like dual point of view all the time. This is partially because Tarko's slow adoption of Cerisi's ruthlessness moved at a pace that was realistic and understandable, showing how even when we are determined to avoid abusing our power, we often end up at points where we make mistakes in how we handle said temptation. Since we're talking about characters, Tarko does not deserve Rawlish, but I do like how when he does admit the truth one time and she calls him on it, he comes clean right away. And then he never did it again. There's none of the nonsense Aladdin does to Jasmine in the movie Aladdin, and they also do things together, and she's the first person he goes to as a sounding board. He truly cares about her and loves her, and that respectful, normal relationship is something we rarely see in fantasy, and especially not in a fantasy where the good character is encroaching on being morally gray. While the romance is rather mundane, I actually really like it because it's so just normal. Now, there is a lot of characters in this novel, and while they have distinct personalities, sometimes it did feel like Atalaway and Pell only came into the room, so to speak, when they had something to do. Esterel and Rawlish held the stage quite a bit. In fact, I have to say, I love how, women outnumber the men considerably in this novel. We don't often see that, especially in a novel written by dudes. What am I going? So anyway, I do kind of wish Atalaway did a bit more in the latter half of the story, though, because it kind of felt like she kind of, like, drifted out of it. But, I mean, there's so much going on and there's so many characters that I guess it's hard to kind of give everyone ample space, but I really like Atalaway, and so I was kind of sad when I was like, oh, she's kind of just backburnering this one. Likewise, and this is really the only even close to negative thing I have to say about the novel, there is a twist I saw coming a mile away. Given this is a novel more about magic battles than anything, perhaps this is just me being picky, but a few more red herrings about that twist would have been a bit nice. In terms of the battles and fights, they were top notch. They're exciting, fun, surprising in their trajectory at times, and normally a bunch of scenes of a person fighting others in an arena, I'd be like, oh my god, please stop. But they were spaced out enough and few in number that they were actually really fun and integral to the story. It also provided the best places for Tarko to let his darker side shine, which is really fun to read, as much as it was also kind of horrific. I just thought that the balance there was really well done, because I am not a progression fantasy reader, which I'm assuming this book kind of is. I don't even know what that really is. I'm assuming it's just like reading about a lot of fights. But this book is definitely just kind of a fantasy that has that element. The plot is a quest narrative. I love quest narratives. The entire thing is just them trying to tell the Sway that the demons are here and no one listens to them. But the snags they run into along the way make the stopovers, side quests, and arena battles make a lot of sense, and they were fun. The book is very long, but it doesn't drag, and the writing has lots of details and description. I'd never call it lyrical or overly deep, but it's easy to follow, and the dialogue is great, and it's so engaging. I just really, really, really like it. The world building is fun, and I love the little details here and there. Plus, land swings are such a fun idea. That's that bird thing in the cover. It does make me wonder whether this whole thing is set in, like, like they're actually the size of fairies in Fern Gully and they're not full humans. But I don't think that's true. Just sometimes it makes me think of that. Now, my favorite character in the book is definitely Red Eye, the Byronic in the sense of being grouchy, moody, man. I don't know why, but I just love him to bits. Perhaps it's like kind of the grumpy sunshine dynamic, or because I find him incredibly funny, but Red Eye is 100% my book boyfriend, and if the authors happen to watch my little review and you're inspired to give him a girlfriend, please make it a grumpy sunshine dynamic because I would absolutely love that. And I mean, if you want to call her Tina, I'm perfectly fine with that too. My obsession with moody wizards totally comes from Raceland from Dragonlance when I was 15. That dude just imprinted on me quite heavily when it comes to, like my type in books, not in real life. Anyway, that aside, this book is a lot of fun and I eagerly await the third one and I highly recommend it on audiobook. The narrator, I remember with the first one, it took me a little bit to kind of like get into the narrator's style, but now I can't possibly think of the book without that narrator. So yeah, yeah, this review, as I said, was a long time coming, but I'm glad that I managed to get through it, and I really really enjoyed the book. So please write the third one.